What's up, Raider Nation? It finally happened, y'all. This is a new day in Raider Nation. This is a new era. And Josh McDaniels fired, Dave Ziegler, chump, fired, and we are back. We are back. Antonio Pierce will be the interim head coach. Isn't that his name?
Antonio Pierce is our new head coach. Man, we literally called it too. I remember in our last pod before the Lions game,
You
we
called
said
it. You called it. I didn't call that
we
shit. You called it.
I mean, we've been saying it for weeks upon weeks, but I said if we lay an egg against Detroit Lions, it's over. And it was over. And hey, first thing I want to do is hats off to Mark Davis. Hats off to our owner, Mark Davis.
Smarten up. Smarten up. Smarten up.
He smartened up. He did. We gave Mark Davis so much shit saying he's too cheap to fire this guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's too safe. And he proved us wrong. I will say. I didn't think we all thought he was going to get fired, but we didn't believe it because we didn't believe in this owner. We didn't believe in the organization. And you know, I saw a post on Twitter today. It said Mark Davis is now spoiled because of the Vegas Aces. He's a winning owner because of the Vegas Aces. He's used to winning. And you know what? Now, look, I don't know where the direction of the franchise is going to head from now, but look, it was clear that Josh McDaniels needed to go. Like we all saw it. Fans and players, everyone saw that this guy is not the coach. It didn't look right. It just looked terrible from the start. It did not look right. And you know, it's really big for us that this guy is gone. It's really big.
I mean, today couldn't get better for Raider Nation. Happy Halloween. I mean, we just had the greatest Halloween in recent memory. I mean, the coach is fired. We're free.
Yeah.
We're free. And it's a new day in Raider Nation. It's a new day. It's a new dawn of a new era. And they're gonna find the right guy. Mark Davis, he heard the rumors. I mean, everyone calling him a moron, calling him an asshole, and saying that, oh, smarten up, you smarten
including
up.
us.
Oh yeah,
including us.
Of course, including us. Like, I mean, yeah. Let's represent the. I like my new.
You know
how it be. And Mark. I mean, in that press conference yesterday after that loss, forget that loss. We're not even going to talk about that game.
No.
I mean, Marcus Peters' 75-yard pick six was the most yards by any player on the team. I mean, 75 yards on that pick six. We kicked field goals, and we held Detroit to field goals, I should say. We held them to 3 good field goals. Defense did its part, 3 takeaways. Offense couldn't get it done, and Josh McDaniels fired. It sucks it couldn't happen earlier today. I mean, earlier today would have been nice too, but I'm not going to complain. Dave Ziegler is also a bum. And I think Mark Davis realized he hired the wrong guy for the GM role too. And I think Champ Kelly steps in. That guy, he's a likable guy. He had a lot of GM interviews. Like, he got a lot of interviews to be GM elsewhere. And he chose still to be the assistant to the Raiders because I guess he knew that he's going to become the full-time GM at some point. I mean, Dave Ziegler doesn't know anything.
Well, I don't think that on the the Instagram post that they put out, they said Champ Kelly's intern, but they were like, at the end of the season, we're going to perform a comprehensive search for our next general manager. And I think, because remember, everyone was saying we're going to trade Renfroe, which we were going to trade him. Like, he wasn't getting any playing time. It was, everyone reported, every beat writer said he's gone. And I think Mark Davis literally pulled the plug and said, okay, you guys are done. Like, I think he just told him right after the game, you guys are done. No trade. I think he literally vetoed the trade that Hunter Renfroe is going to go. And that was a good move by Mark Davis.
And the other
Don't let these guys screw up the roster when a new coach is going to inherit it. So great move by Mark Davis, not letting him trade away anyone.
And the other thing is they had 4th and 1.5. It was 1.5 yards away from first down yesterday. And Jimmy Garoppolo's bombing it to Hunter Renfroe, and obviously he missed it. Right? He missed him. He missed him right over the middle. And Devontae should have had at least 200 yards receiving yesterday. He should have had a 98-yard touchdown, and he should have had a 60-yard touchdown. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to play another game for the Raiders. You heard it here first.
Agree.
Jimmy Garoppolo is done. Jimmy Garoppolo will be cut. If you cut him after June 1st, you save $15-20 million, and you just eat that $18 million dead cap. That's gone. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's done. Jimmy
Yeah.
Garoppolo era is finished. He's done. He can't throw. He can't throw the deep ball. We need a quarterback with a cannon. And I honestly don't think Caleb Williams is the guy either, to be honest with you. I don't think in the last 3 weeks, the way Caleb Williams has looked has just been like one of those mobile quarterbacks who just runs around. And I mean, he's run more in the last 3 weeks than he's done in his whole career. And
I
that's
never thought I'd hear you say that Caleb is not the guy. I'm surprised and hear you say
I
that.
I honestly I would prefer someone with a stronger arm, someone who doesn't run. And okay, Caleb's a Heisman, hats off to him. I just don't think Caleb Williams is the guy for the Raiders. I think you need a guy like Michael Penix or Drake May, someone who can throw the
Yeah.
ball downfield, who can stretch the ball downfield. And being a student at USC and watching USC the last 3 weeks, there's nothing. There's nothing Caleb Williams can do. I mean, against these defenses, he has Jerry Rice Jr. running down the field, and
Yeah.
he still can't make he still can't make stuff happen. And he threw 3 interceptions against Notre Dame at our own 20-yard line, which is the only reason Notre Dame won. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, we could go on and on about Caleb Williams, but right here for the Raiders, this is a dawn of a new era, and I think we got to do an extensive search this time and hire the right guy. And you got to
Yeah.
hire one of these young guys. And I mean, I like the interim because he's a player, So he's a former
Yeah.
player. He's won a Super Bowl. He was a starting linebacker on the New York Giants in 2007. He won a Super Bowl there. That's good because he can relate to the players. The players can rally around him. They can play around him, and they can just, they can be one again. This guy McDaniels lost the locker room.
Yeah.
Locker room was split. Locker room was divided in half. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, the locker room was divided. That's it. When you lose the players, you lose your job.
Yeah. And I 100% agree that Jimmy Garoppolo is done. After obviously digesting the information, okay, he's gone. That was the first thought that came to my mind is, okay, he's not going to play anymore. Why would he play? Like the only guy who wanted him in the building was McDaniels, and now he's gone. So there's no one backing Garoppolo to start. So I mean, I think someone said, I don't know if it was Hondo Carpenter or one of the beat writers who said Aiden O'Connell's projected to start.
It was Vinny Bonsignore.
Okay, Vinny, perfect. So I think he's going to start against the Giants. But, I was thinking about it a little bit. Obviously, I think we're all going to be excited as Raider fans for the Giants game. We have a chance to win. It's at home. No more of this coach. But are we going to tank? We might just tank the rest of the season now. Because you have your third string fourth round quarterback in who has shown promise, but he's not exactly going to win you. He's not going to take you to the playoffs. So, and obviously your coach is gone. I don't know if we're just going to lay down for the season. I think the Giants game will be a good indicator of are we going to come to play, or is Mark Davis saying, okay, you're fired, let's tank for Drake May or Caleb Williams or one of these quarterbacks? Probably Caleb at this point. I know you have your thoughts on Caleb, but at the end of the day, he's the consensus number one overall pick. So I don't know how the rest of the season is going to go. As a Raider fan, I'm not sure. I just know that this is a step that we needed to take as a franchise. You couldn't have gone into next season with this coach. And another thing I will say is, look, we had our issues with Derek Carr. But I feel like those issues kind of started with McDaniels. Like, obviously we didn't love him under John Gruden, but we were winning games. We were always, it seemed like, in the wild card contention.
We were always in it. We were
in it.
Game. Forget wild card. Yeah. We were always in the game. My dad pointed out yesterday, we're scoring, over 24, 30 points every single game. Carr was moving the ball down the field. And, I will say that, I've shat on Carr the past year now since he left back in February. I've shat on Carr, and I honestly do owe him an apology because I don't think the Raiders, made the right choice with the coach. I think that was a mistake. I owe Carr an apology because, he's not the best. Okay, we'll admit it, but Jimmy Garoppolo is not not even a fraction of what Derek Carr was for the Raiders. And I'll own up and say it. I'll own up like a man, and I'll say it that Derek Carr was, I mean, he was in the right and McDaniels
Yeah.
was wrong.
And the sad part is, I remember someone said this. I think it was Steve Young, who said that when we got rid of Carr, he said, when I think of the Raiders, I think Derek Carr. He's been there for 9 years. Josh McDaniels is a one and done head coach. Like, and he's Derek Carr should still be on the team. Josh McDaniels literally ripped our team apart. And our quarterback's gone now of 9 years because of this stupid coach. And now we have to reset. I don't know if we're going full on rebuild depending on the coach we hire. But it's really a shame how this guy just demolished our team. We're all happy right now that he's gone and we're moving on. But I want to take a little bit of time to say, like, look what this guy did to our franchise. He was the worst coach we've had since Lane Kiffin. Josh McDaniels is the worst coach we've had since Lane Kiffin.
And Al Davis pulled the plug on Lane Kiffin. Al Davis
Yeah.
pulled the plug on him after 1 year. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think like that wouldn't have panned out, obviously. But look at this. I mean, look at this stat. He went 8-8 in Denver's first year. They start. I mean, you won't remember. You were a baby, but I remember. They went 6-0 to start the year in Denver. They went 6-0 with Kyle Orton was their quarterback. They went 6-0, and they ended up finishing 8-8.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, Kyle Orton is your quarterback, and you're winning 6-0. You start 6-0, and then you finish 8-8. Second year, 2010, Denver again goes 3-9 and gets fired in week 12. Gets fired in week 12, and just they had gone like 5-17 since the beginning of the 2009 season. Just god awful. And here, 6-11 the first year, just completely ripped the team apart. Took a playoff team from 2021 and made them just embarrassing. Embarrassing
Yeah.
to even watch them. Embarrassing to even watch this team play. Every single time they stepped on the court, on the field, it was just disgusting to watch. I mean, yesterday was probably the worst Raider game I've seen in years.
Yeah.
How many defensive stops they got, yet they could not move the ball even a yard. And then also, I'm going to call out Devontae Adams right here.
Yeah.
How on earth are you going to drop that pass? And the whole momentum swing, it was 16-14. We got the ball at the 8-yard, at our own 8-yard line. It's like 3rd and 4. Jimmy puts the ball on the money for once in his damn life, puts the ball on the money. And it just goes off his hands. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, you're paid $1 billion to just catch the ball. That's all you're paid to do, to be one of the best receivers in the league, so-called. And you drop the ball on 3rd and 4. Like, are you effing joking? Are you?
I 100%, 100,000% agree with you. No one talks about it because like Devontae's a good player, but everyone kisses his ass. Like, he's Tim Brown or he's Jerry. He's Devontae Adams, and
Very right.
he dropped a pass in the Bears game. He dropped a pass in the Lions game.
Yeah.
So when he's throwing a tantrum on the sideline, you're effing up just as much as everyone else is. You're not. I mean, yeah, you're open and you're not getting the ball. Fine, but when you get the ball, make the damn catch.
And I will say that I do feel sorry for him. I do feel sorry what he did to his own career. I mean, agreeing to play for Josh McDaniels is the biggest mistake right there. I mean, you've seen what it's done to, like all pro caliber receivers like Brandon Marshall when he played for Denver. Like, just a disaster. Like, Kyle Orton was the quarterback. They won 3 games in 2010. They lost to the Raiders 59-14. I'll never forget that game. It was on Halloween. Raiders beat Denver 59-14. It was the most points we've ever scored in a game. And I remember Raiders used to have this corner named Chris Johnson, number 37. He had a pick 6. And Darren McFadden had like 3 touchdowns. And Michael Bush, even our backup running back, number 29, he even had a touchdown. We went off that game. We scored 59 points. Jason Campbell was our quarterback. And, from that day, just looking at Josh McDaniels' face and then seeing him get hired, then we got Devontae in a trade, and I thought, okay, maybe he's figured it out. Man, what a disastrous tenure with the Raiders in the last, let's see, like what it was this season was like 8 games. Last year was 17. Yeah, so 25 games as a Raiders head coach. He went 9-16.
Yeah. And like I said, under the circumstances that he was brought in under, inheriting a playoff team, this guy is the worst head coach since Lane Kiffin. Like, clearly. Like, not even, we've had some bad coaches. We had Dennis Allen. We've had, I don't even want to go down the list. We've had some really bad, like, we've had Art Shell come in. Like, it's been bad this under Mark Davis's tenure and end of Al Davis's life. It's been bad. I don't think it's been this bad when you have a playoff roster and you just completely dismantle it to, we're the worst team. We're the worst offense in the NFL by far.
Listen,
Worst offense.
listen to this. Listen to this. McDaniels was fired from the Raiders on October 31st, 2023. McDaniels' time in Las Vegas will be remembered as a what could have been, with plenty of talent on the roster, as well as regular season team that had made the playoffs in 2021, with playoff expectations going into 2022 and 2023. This adds to a long line of front office and player dispute incidents from a growing pool of players to come through Las Vegas. In the end, his tenure closes being fairly underwhelming, with the Raiders falling to the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football, and the Raiders failing to return to the playoffs, as well as the departure of Derek Carr.
Who wrote that? Is that Hondo?
No, that's on Wikipedia
Oh,
now.
Wikipedia. Oh,
All of a
shit.
sudden, just right away, all of a sudden it got updated in like
Yeah.
5 minutes after.
Speaking of, I wanted to say, I'm gonna call it Hondo Carpenter. You know, I listened to his podcast. He's clearly was buddy with Josh McDaniels. This man said, yeah, he's definitely not getting fired. He kept saying that throughout the whole
He
season. This
said
guy's
his
no
seat is not
credibility.
warm. His seat is not warm.
No credibility, Hondo Carpenter.
Yeah,
Like,
and he tweeted earlier today, Devontae Adams has requested a trade. I can confirm that he has not. Told moments ago by someone very close to the situation that saying it was total bullshit and I'm a liar.
his source is Josh McDaniels. Like,
Yeah.
this guy is literally best friends with the guy. It's unbelievable. He literally said too in the offseason, he was like, Hunter Renfrow is getting traded. 100% without a doubt, he's getting traded. He's still on the roster. Hondo Carpenter has no credibility in my mind. Whatever he says, you should probably just believe the opposite of what this guy says. It's sad. Hondo Carpenter, he seems like a nice guy. Nothing personal against him, but he's really misinformed, or he just listens to Josh McDaniels, which isn't a good thing. Don't listen to Josh McDaniels.
Since the summer of 2021, the Raiders have seen team president Mark Badane resign, John Gruden resign, fired Mike Mayock, fired team president Dan Ventrell, released SVP. Oh, watch SVP Marcel Reese resign, released quarterback Derek Carr, hired and fired Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. Wow.
Yeah,
What a franchise.
tumultuous tenure to say least.
What a franchise on friggin' fire.
Yeah.
Franchise on fire. Like, I hope now with this, like, Antonio Pierce and, like, new quarterback change, like, I hope something happens. I hope they change something now. I mean, this guy, Antonio Pierce, just turned 45 5 days ago, and now he's going to be coached against his former team that he was a Pro Bowler on. He's a Pro Bowler on the New York Giants and a Super Bowl champion the same year.
Yeah. I want to throw this out there. Do you think there's any chance that Rich Bisaccia returns as head coach? You think there's a chance?
I've heard this rumor all around, but no, I don't think so. I've heard this rumor like since we got fired. Like, I've been here to bring back Richie B. It's not going to happen. Only because I think that Carr is not there anymore. Rich Bisaccia is, in Green Bay now. And I don't think that he's the right guy for the job. I think you got to bring somebody in. You got to bring a young, fresh mind in from college. Or I'd hire Press Taylor. Press Taylor is my number one guy for the job right now. And he has done an outstanding job this year in Jacksonville. He's done a crazy good job.
I think our next guy, we just played him. We just played against Ben Johnson. I really like what they did with the Lions.
Not bad either. Ben Johnson has been great on the Lions too. And I think this guy Ramon tweeted like an hour ago. top candidates to replace McDaniels and Ziegler. So it would be head coach. Yeah. So number one, Ben Johnson. Number two, Jim Harbaugh would be a disaster. I think. I think Jim Harbaugh would not be good.
Yeah. Well, I think
wouldn't
if
want
you're
Jim
Mark
Harbaugh.
Davis, you hire you can't hire a CEO head coach. We hired John Gruden, it didn't work. We hired Josh McDaniels. You can't have the head coach be the boss of the GM. Hire a GM first. So hire a guy and then you don't need to hire Jim Harbaugh, who's going to come in and run your organization. You can't give him that much power because like we've seen it last two coaches hasn't worked. So you got to hire a GM. Just hire a traditional head coach. Like go and hire like look at the teams who like okay, Mike McDaniel was hired, traditional head coach, offensive coordinator. Now he's a head coach. D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator for the Niners. Now he's head coach, killing it with the Houston Texans. Just go out, hire a good coordinator, whether it's offensive or defensive. Who cares? Just hire a guy who you know can motivate your players and who's qualified for the job.
I know,
Who's
and
a
I think
coordinator.
that's why I'm so high on Antonio Pierce because he's a former player. He started in the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl with the Giants that year. And I think that's the kind of coach, that kind of rallies the troops, and gets everyone ready and hyped up to play. So I was excited to hear that it was a former player, a Super Bowl champion, who's taking over the team. But I am reading tweets right now. Top four, Eric Bieniemy. I would love Eric Bieniemy, man. Eric Bieniemy ain't slapped Kansas City on the face after 2 Super Bowls and they let him go. Eric Bieniemy would be great. Ben Johnson, Raheem Morris. Hell no. My dad knows Raheem Morris, and he is not a head coach. My dad's friends with Raheem Morris, and he is not a head coach.
No, hey, we can get him on the pod. Future head coach of the Raiders, he'll get on the pod with us.
Imagine that. We would blow up if we had him on the pod.
Hey, I might need to edit that part out, dude. We need to get Raheem Morris on here.
Yeah, Raheem Morris.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Look, our Antonio Pierce, everything sounds good, but I don't know how the team's going to respond. Hopefully, I think we'll go out and beat the Giants, but I don't know how much gas this team has left. I don't know how Aiden O'Connell's going to be, and it could happen.
I don't think it matters. I honestly don't think it matters. I don't think it matters who is going to be, the quarterback going forward. And I don't think it matters like how many games we win now going forward. We have a tough schedule. I don't think it matters. I think if you tank and you win and you get a high draft pick, you pick a quarterback, you get Ben Johnson or Press Taylor to be the head coach, you're golden going into next year. You'll do what Detroit did last year.
Yeah.
Even this year, they're 6-2. I mean, they're just pushing now. But Raider Nation, we're buckle up. We're in for it now. We're ready. We're here, and it's a dawn of a new era.
Yeah, that it is. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this team does, how they respond moving forward. I'm excited to see what they do against the Giants. And I'm just excited to see a new face on the sideline. I was tired of McDaniels. I was tired of those press conferences. It's really cool and really nice to see this guy gone. And I think, we're in for a treat now. The next few years, I think we're going to get the right guy. I don't think we're going to screw this up again. I think it's time for us to move forward as an organization.
I agree. And I think Raider Nation, keep liking, subscribing, commenting. We appreciate it. We appreciate the views, and we're in for it. We'll be coming at you with a game preview later this week, and hopefully Antonio Pierce will rally the troops. Aiden O'Connell will go out there and throw 4 touchdowns, and we'll get a statement win over the New York Giants, who are a pretty terrible football team.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys. And I wanted to say last thing. We finally have something exciting to talk about. Last 2 pods, we're all like depressed coming on here recording. Like, thank you, Mark Davis, for giving us some content, giving us some energy. We appreciate it as content creators.
Finally smartened up.
He did.
Up. And yeah. But thanks, Raider Nation. We'll catch you guys later.
Thank you.